Good evening. I hope everybody's doing good. And like Gary said, happy April 1st or April Fool's Day. I remember when I found out that I was doing this on actually April Fool's Day, I told Morgan, I was like, I'm doing this on April Fool's Day. And she's like, well, see if you can coordinate in something with April Fool's Day. I was like, maybe they think this is a joke that I'm going to get up there on April Fool's Day. I don't know. But I was like, because I was first kind of adamant about not trying to do a Devo about April Fools. I was like, as being Christians, we try not to call like people fools. Jesus said like, don't not call people fools. But then as I started looking at kind of going into the Devo, I started coming up like there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that talks about like fools and foolishness, and so we're going to try to touch on a couple of those things today. I remember growing up that when I always liked the April Fool's Day because my granddad would he would like to do a lot of tricks and stuff on me. I do a lot of tricks and stuff on Rock, like I hide from him and stuff, and he always like, Daddy, are you tricking me? And I haven't done a lot of tricks on April Fools in a long time, and I was trying to remember. I was like, what are even some of the little tricks and things that I would do on April Fools? I was like, well, let's Google and see what some of the April Fools jokes are now. And so, first thing I Googled was like April Fools jokes to do on your kids, and one of them was like you get some brown construction paper and you cut out a bunch of E's, or you can do this to your husband and you go put them on a pan on the stove in the kitchen and be like, hey, I got some fresh brown E's. You cut out the E's and just some brown, or people take the remote control and they put a piece of tape over it, and you got your husband or your wife in there try to flick, and it's not working. Or there's this, and I started to do this tonight. Like you can get on the YouTube channel and it makes it look something like somebody threw it at one of the screens and it was broke, and everybody was gonna think their TV's broke. And then the one that I would not like the most is people were getting like these little fake snakes out and hide. No, because some of the snakes I saw, they look real, and I do not like snakes, and that's why I don't like going to camp a lot of times, because they said there's snakes up there, and I don't like snakes. But as I started running through these things, I started like what verse or what scripture am I going to look at? And the first one I came across was like Psalms 14:1, and it says, "A fool says in their heart there is no God." I don't think that falls into the category of anybody here. I don't know why you would be here if you think in your heart that there's no God. But then I also started thinking about like what actually is a prank, or what is something that's deceitful. And I started thinking about Satan, and I started thinking about a lot of other verses, and I started thinking about like we're a people, we're a species that from the beginning of time somebody's been trying to deceive us, somebody's been trying to pull one over on us or prank us. The devil doesn't think that there's no God. He knows that there's a God, so that's not what he's trying to fool us. He's trying to get us on his side. From all the way back in the Garden of Eden, he tried to trick Adam and tried to trick Eve into not believing what God said, not believing what he said is true, not that he loved us, or that he cares for us. He tried to tell us that all those things are lies and that God's a liar, because he's the great deceiver. When I started thinking about, there's lots of other verses that you read about in Proverbs. Proverbs is full about verses that talk about full of foolish things. And one of them that I pulled out probably about 10 or 15 of them, and I was going to glance over them, but for time's sake, we're not going to go over these. One of them that I looked at, that was like Proverbs 26:11. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. A lot of us get fooled by the devil a lot of times, and we'll turn ourselves back to the way that we think we're going down the right path, but then the devil will be whispering in our ear. He's like, no, it's not you. It's okay. You can still do this. That sin's fine. And he's constantly there. We're not the only people that Satan tries to get after. He tried to get and try to deceive Christ himself. As we read back in, we read Matthew 4 and Luke 4, that, Satan took Christ out and even put him on the mountaintop, said to let him have everything. Of course, Christ said no. Christ, he knew better, and he wasn't going to go down that path. And then I thought it was interesting in Luke 4, what it says in there. It says, let's see right here. It says, sorry, I usually don't even read anything. I usually just kind of go off the cuff. He says, Satan left him to a more opportune time. That kind of stuck with me. If he thought there was a more opportune time to come back and try to maybe tempt Christ, then he's going to come after us. And we read back down in 1 Peter 5:8, Peter tells us, he says, to be alert and be sober-minded, because your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. That someone to devour is us. When we walk out that door, he's out there every day. There's a lot of verses and a lot of scripture that talks about the devil tempting us, talks about foolishness, talks about things that we're not to do. The devil tempts us every day. He's whispering in our ear. He's like, it's okay to do this. That little lie is okay. Stealing that little bit of money is okay. You deserve it. Going out with your friends, getting a little drunk's okay. Not going to church is okay. That cheating's a little bit okay. You always got that little devil on your shoulder trying to tell you that's okay. But it's not okay. We got to make sure that we are listening and we're founding ourselves in Scripture. And we sing a song about it all the time. You read in Matthew 7 where Christ talks about the foolish man builds his house on the sand and the wise man builds his house on the rock. So we got to root ourselves on the rock. We got to make sure we're in the Scripture. We got to make sure that we're doing things that are right. And it's hard a lot of times. We got the little kids, they know the song. The wise man built his house upon the rock. You know that song. We know that song. From now on, I want to implore with you, anytime you see that song, I want you to think about that song and think about, am I doing the foolish things, or am I trying to build myself on the rock and keep myself on that rock? So, I had a lot more stuff to say, but for time's sake, Adam made sure that I'm not going to try to cut into his class time, so I told him I would cut it as short as I could. So I skipped most of that stuff right there. It's hard sometimes getting it right, trying to fit that right time frame. But today, this is your opportunity. If you want to come forward, if you needed to make sure that's in your mind, put yourself right with God. Make sure that you're not doing those foolish things, making sure that you want to make a commitment to yourself, and make sure this is not your April Fool's Day. This is your Independence Day to set yourself right. Then come forward now. So we stand and sing.
570.